The Olympics finally drew to a close over the weekend, and thank God that clown show is over. Okay, at the closing ceremonies, you had the ceremonial handoff from the host city to the next host city, and because in 2028 the Olympics are going to be returning stateside for the first time since 2002 with the Winter Olympics and 96 since Atlanta, the Summer Olympics are going to be in the States, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Like I said, I love the Summer Olympics. It's just I couldn't dedicate a single moment to watching anything that I was seeing out of Paris outside of to simply cover it in a video or to just laugh at the memeage, because that's what we're going to have to do with this one. So yeah, it was pretty cool that Tom Cruise took time out of breaking very expensive space or sea equipment for the upcoming final Mission Impossible film to zipline down to the stage to take that handoff from Paris on behalf of Los Angeles. But I suppose that's pretty cool, but everybody was kind of more incensed by, I don't know, golden rings and some golden idol or something like that. I just heard a bunch of conversations. Oh, it's super demonic for some reason or another. It was just like how they openly mocked the Last Supper at the opening games. Oh, they started off by laughing at Christianity and then they just recreate a pagan tribute at the end. It's like, yeah, okay. Paris was a big woke disaster, and don't you dare laugh at this insanity at all whatsoever, or you could just end up getting a lawsuit leveled against you. What? Okay, because yeah, bringing up those opening ceremonies again, okay, if you recall, this is supposed to be, the Feast of Dionysus or some misconstrued nonsense like that, but you had a bunch of drag queens up there recreating the Last Supper. Let's call a spade and a creep. That's what was going on there. But the centerpiece at the controversy, the one that you can't miss on screen right there, is apparently a French DJ, okay? Iggy not even pretending to be Smalls. Because of her participation in that absolute nonsense, well, she's filing legal complaints over online abuse. It's like, okay, if it's legit, this is the action to take, but I mean, is somebody trying to extend their 15 minutes of fame, or just trying to get an extra 15 minutes at the Golden Corral buffet line? A storm of outrage about the Paris Olympics opening ceremonies took a legal turn Tuesday, with the DJ who performed at the show saying her lawyer is filing complaints over a torrent of threats and other abuse that the big gay icon has suffered online in the ceremony's wake. Barbra Butch's lawyer, very feminine moniker you had there, and said in a letter posted to the DJ's Instagram account that Butch has been threatened with all the crazy stuff and has been the target of numerous anti-Semitic, there it is, exactly, homophobic, sexist, and grossophobic insults. I beg your pardon, what is grossophobic? Are they referring to just that? Is that what you say if you just look at that and go, ugh, being a grossophobe? But obviously this is all for ancillary marketing purposes, right? Barbara wants to raise her profile so she can get booked to a bigger, larger venues in France, mostly to, accommodate Barbara. Get herself out the club and do a theater. But that's not the only set of lawsuits that are getting thrown around right now that are probably going to get thrown out of court too. You have Imane Khelif. If you remember, this is the female boxer. Well, by all accounts, very much a female. One of those weird situations where you actually have a genetic condition, somebody who actually is born differently, has XY chromosomes, is by all accounts a woman, just also happens to be the best bitch boxer out there. Congratulations, you won the gold on that one. You beat another stunning and brave female with XY chromosomes. Very strange how both of those end up bubbling to the top of that lackadaisical pool. But Olympic boxing champion Imane Khelif, sure, files a legal complaint for online harassment against her. Is that going to be the last thing you can see of these Paris 24 Olympics? Where all of this progressive bullshit just ends up bubbling up over line, people making memes and having a good laugh about the situation. It's like, yeah, I made my video and I made my stance on this. I think that, Italian chick who has a history of just whining, complaining, and crying her way out of a tough situation ended up going against somebody who is just, better than them. Sucks to suck, I guess. Train harder next time, because it's not like Imane's unbeatable in the ring. Hell, you had some Russian broad trolling her online as well, going, hey, remember the last time we squared off against each other in the ring? I put you on S. Sucks I can't be there to do it again to you. But yeah, Khelif is trash, bro. Absolute trash. But because, you couldn't just hop on the podium, get the gold, move on with your life. No, you have to start filing lawsuits to get retribution. Like, if anybody had any aspersions that this wasn't a real woman, I mean, this right here is the perfect example. Can't let sleeping dogs lie, and you have to rely on much more powerful men to fight your battles for you. Olympic boxing champion Imane Khelif has filed a legal complaint in France for online harassment after a rain of criticism and false claims about her sex during the Paris Olympics, her lawyer said Sunday. Khelif, who will be Algeria's flag bearer at the closing ceremony, won gold Friday in the women's welterweight division, becoming a new hero in her native Algeria and bringing global attention to women's boxing. Yeah, and I was watching some of the women's boxing when we were looking at the clips. Like I said, I didn't bother with, watching any of the games themselves. All I seen was Imane actually throw like a pretty decent right straight and had a decent jab as well. But the Italian chick, who was just too busy crying to fighting, had very little technique at all whatsoever. So it's kind of like how Caitlin Clark brought attention to women's basketball, but after all the hoopla's done, nobody's going to pay attention to it anymore. And this is going to undercut any sort of legitimacy as well. It's like, okay, cool, you can't take a light ribbing. Yeah, there's people online that are upset about this. Give it some time. A new cycle will blow over. You're still going to be a gold medalist. And at best, you'll have to deal with some of this stuff in 4 years' time. So whatever, man. Spurg to your heart's content. But I want to get into the memes before we go, because there's an evergreen aspect to this. And if we don't talk about it now, we're never going to get a chance to talk about it. And I thought that this was hilarious, because you had Jordan Childs. Jordan Childs ended up taking home bronze medal at the female floor routine. Strange how we're talking about women's sports throughout this entirety. Mostly because I guess the males events just went on all well and good with little to no fanfare. But Jordan Childs ended up, yes, like I said, winning bronze after another competitor who actually beat her on the score was disqualified for stepping out of bounds, when you could just easily look at the footage and realize that, oh yeah, that heel never touched out of bounds. That Romanian ended up getting screwed. But because first place and second place were black, Jordan Childs says, yes, the all-black gymnastics podium is here to stay. And oh, it's such a wonderful thing because, I don't know, black people can hop over fences and barricades better than anybody else. That's fantastic. And then cold hard reality sets in where, yeah, after you get all the fanfare, the Olympics gets to be praised as being so stunning and brave for having an all-black podium. Oh, look at how great these women are, until after the fact where it's like, hey, bitch, we're going to be needing that bronze medal back because, yeah, you weren't better than that white Romanian girl, actually, at the end of the day. So, yeah, after some reconsideration and after us looking like the good people, yeah, once all the hoopla around the Olympics has died down, yeah, we're going to need that back. Hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, we have Raygun, or Rachel Gunn, however you want to refer to her as. And, well, she decided to participate as the only woman in breakdancing. That's the thing. Breakdancing at the Olympics. I didn't think this was real. Okay, the first thing that I seen of this, and it's like, this is the competition, this is the highlights. Okay, apparently, here I was thinking, because the first time that I seen that, like I was saying, it was in comparison. Somebody cut, I think it was a Steven voiceover, shout out, shot this, or rather, had a green screen cut out of Raygun, in contrast to Bully Maguire in Spider-Man 3, who did it better, because does this look like an athlete at all whatsoever, or does this just look like some entitled spurg who's just having a moment on the world stage? Like, why would you take that seriously? Okay, because she doesn't even take her education seriously. This is Rachel Gunn. She has a PhD in cultural movement. I beg your pardon, cultural movement. Well, apparently autistic white girl movements, and convinced Australia to pay for her trip to the Paris Olympics. She participated in breakdance and got 0 points, and everybody is dumber for having watched her routine. That was ridiculous, man. Okay, and it gets even worse from here, because Australia's Olympic chief blames sexism for breakdancer criticism. Okay, her comments came after Raygun's performance in the Paris Games was slammed as being ridiculous and embarrassing. I mean, we watched the supercut of it. How else could you possibly misconstrue that as being anything but ridiculous and embarrassing? Australia's chief de mission, Anna Mears, Well, I think, yeah, what is a cat on social media with the trolls and keyboard warriors? Oh, all of those trolls and keyboard warriors who had a say in awarding a 0 to Raygun, and talking those comments and giving them airtime has been really disappointing. If you don't know Rachel's story, in 2008, she was locked in a room crying, being involved in a male-dominated sport as the only woman. Well, I mean, there's how many inspirational movies back in the cut where you had an only in a situation overcoming the odds, but that would require talent and a victimhood card, and this is referencing, films that were coming out in the early to late 2000s and not in current year. So I can understand your disposition. It took great courage for her to continue on and fight for her opportunity to participate in the sport that she loved, and that got her winning the Olympic qualifying event to be here in Paris. She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia. Wow, that's kind of an indictment on your country, because I would imagine that there's probably just some chicks that are down there convulsing on the beach in Sydney. You could probably put together a better floor routine than whatever in the blue hell. The kangaroo jumping, bruh. She was, yeah, okay. We don't need to see the sprinkler, the sumo. Okay, what I don't even know. I don't know what any of this stuff is, but apparently it's worthy of Australian taxpayer dollars when you can see everybody in the background in different levels of either disgust, confusion, or holding back laughs. But I think that's probably the best way to summarize Paris 2024. Confusion, disgust, and a comedy witnessed by the entire world. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.